Never thought I'd have to do so many videos that make me feel like such a negative person, but I do feel like it's part of my responsibility to bring this stuff um, out so that collectors are aware of this stuff. There has been this horrible plague since 1990 of these fake counterfeit framed coins from the 1715 fleet. They appear in, as far as I know, two different types of frames. I'm going to share those with you now. This is going to be the first one, but I think it's most important to start with this. So what this is this company is called Gulf Stream Rarities Inc. There is also several companies under this one company. This company was started by Terry L. Sullivan, and it was started in 1990. I'll get to the specifics of that in a minute, but these coins are all cast copies. They're all with these certificates that look like this, I mean, they're everywhere, but even more so, and I'm going to explain that in just a second, even more so are these Cobb Coin Company Inc. 8 reals. Now, this person that did the counterfeiting was actually somewhat clever, especially with this type here. So what they would do is they would take one coin, for example, knowing that Cobbs never have the same shape, strike, or weight. And this person that did the casting knew this, so what they would do is take a coin, clip some of the edges and make the shape look different, but they were never able to change the way the strike looked. On some of them I found they've even hammered the edges a little bit just to change the shape. Sometimes you'll see a coin that is identical, so you'll see one that looks exactly the same as this on the same type of certificate, only the certificate will have a serial number underneath of it. I've seen many examples of this, and I've seen these sold on eBay, and I shit you not, at least once a month, at the very, very least. There's always one of these on eBay. They're not hard to find. They've been in major auction houses, and they've all been sold as authentic. I finally have, I finally was able to verify at least more than one example. I did 3 different pieces. I even had them XRF tested, and that was this coin here. This one I was able to take out of the frame. I bought this from a guy, and then I returned it to him, and of course he turned around and sold it to somebody else as authentic. Luckily, I know who that person was, and was able to bring that to his attention like quickly. I was pissed off that the guy that sold it to me, knowing full well that the coin was a counterfeit. This coin, by the way, was 90% silver. Turned around and sold it. He just couldn't take the loss on it. So this particular coin, I stamped copy on the back, knowing that it was being returned. I had a feeling that it would show up in circulation again, so what I did is I just stamped the back of it copy. I also left a note behind stating that this coin is a counterfeit. So all these framed coins come in these wood frames. They all have this same kind of, it's kind of a checkered gray matting. Some of the matting is green. More so with Gulf Stream Rarities. How do I know that these two companies are connected? I'm going to show you. It all is in the seal right here. So we have this seal that says Gulf Stream Rarities Inc. Florida seal, and there's a date. I can't read the date on this one, particular one, but it says Gulf Stream Rarities. The funny thing is that these pieces, the ones that come in the Cobb Coin Company frames, also carry a Gulf Stream Rarities seal, which is obviously incorrect because it should read Cobb Coin Company Inc., right? It should belong to the company that issued the certificate. So all the ones that come with the Cobb Coin Company certificates have a very lightly embossed seal, so it's very hard to read them. However, if you take it and you put a light just right, you can actually read some of the lettering, and they all say, you guessed it, Gulf Stream Rarities, which has nothing to do with Cobb Coin Company Inc. So I am going to show you, just for an example, the seal. This seal, I took a picture of the seal off this particular certificate, and I'm going to dig that up here real quick so you can see while I'm looking here. Let me show you this coin. Here's another picture of the coin that was in that frame, the Cobb Coin Company frame. I don't know if I can blow it up, but look how lightly this is embossed. This is done on purpose to hide the fact that this person did not have the seal for Cobb Coin Company, which they don't have a right to anyway. You can just barely see it here, but there's part of the word stream for Gulf Stream Rarities. And somewhere here I do have a picture of the one that came with the Cobb Coin Company certificate, so you can see it from the reverse. I took a picture of it from the reverse of the certificate, and then I flipped the image so it wasn't in reverse. So, as I said, it's very lightly embossed, but we can see just the tail end of the word stream, and then rarities right there. I mean, the seals are identical. I've matched them up. I took the best pictures I could, but we have Gulf Stream Rarities Inc. Identical seal to the Gulf Stream Rarities seal on the Gulf Stream Rarities Company certificates. The funny thing is that this person, Terry L. Sullivan Sr., actually put his name on these certificates, and I'm guessing signed them. I actually have some reason to believe that this is a woman, a female, not a man, but I don't know. We're still working on that. So anyway, I'm guessing that there are people out there that have wondered about these because this is a certificate that has nothing to do with a salvage company. And I'm guessing there's people that have seen these framed coins and wondered if they're authentic or not. Well, they're not. They're fakes. This is that particular coin, that 1 real. If we look at this picture here, it's not the greatest picture, I'm sorry, but we can see pretty clearly that this is a cast copy. And I'm going to do another video completely focused on the Gulf Stream Rarity pieces. Right now I want to focus on the counterfeit Cobb Coin Company pieces that are framed, because what I'm trying to present here is that these are linked directly to this guy, Terry Sullivan, and his Gulf Stream Rarities Company. So here's just a quick profile. You can pull this up off the internet just by simply Googling the name Gulf Stream Rarities Inc. So what it shows you, Gulf Stream Rarities Inc., owned by Terry L. Sullivan. He also owns Gulf Stream Rare Coins Inc., Artisan Frame and Art Gallery Inc., and Exotic Connections Inc. So what this is telling me that this guy obviously has some company for framing. All his stuff is framed, so that makes perfect sense. This one I've got to investigate because I haven't seen anything yet that says Gulf Stream Rare Coins. But I would imagine that some of the coins that he sold were authentic. Some of them would have to be, because A, he had to get the coins from somewhere to make the cast copies, and B, you would want to sell some coins that are authentic to gain people's trust, I would think. I'm trying to think like a counterfeiter, a cheat, and that's what I would assume. So I would imagine that there may be some out there that are authentic. Most likely some were sold, and most likely this guy kept all those pieces. So I'm not going to get into like the details of certain coins and if they fit to the period of the 1715 fleet or not. The ones I've seen so far mostly do. But let's take a look at this specimen here. This one I think is important simply because I've got quite a bit of stuff to show you with this particular piece. So here's a folder that has all the Gulf Stream Rarities and their counterfeits. I'm looking for a very specific coin right now, so let me see if I can figure out where it went. There we go. So let's take a look at this one. This is one that was just offered on eBay, so I grabbed this picture off eBay. Now, I think I may have collapsed that one window. This coin is in a completely different frame, and you can see right away that this has that NNS style, which, by the way, is neat new style. I should be noting that. The neat new style from the Mexico Mint. Let me find a better picture of this one, actually, that's blown up, because what we want to do is be able to see and compare these two coins. So it's here somewhere. I've got some good pictures. I've also got other examples, which I will share in just a minute. I'm trying to go as quickly as possible. Really, this is kind of one of those things where it's kind of hard to rush through it, so I hope you got like 10-15 minutes. Alright, Here's what I'm looking for. So let's just look at the two specimens, okay? These are identical specimens except for the fact one is clipped and one is not. If we look at the features of this particular piece here that is unclipped, which is this piece here in a totally different frame that was just offered on eBay, we can see that the castle are identical, and now for the petals on the tressors, we can see that the right tresser, both petals are fully visible. The petal on the top tresser on the right is mostly visible, so we have that there. The bottom tresser's left petal visible, and then we kind of have that little partial part of the tresser there, and a very faint bit of the top left tresser petal on the left there. Looking at the castle, that castle is nice and full, clearly cast, by the way. This lion, we've got the head, we got the tail, we got the space between the tail. We can see just a little bit of the foot and a little bit of the arms. It's identical. We can see here that there's, like there's a hammering, faceting mark over the top of this, or over the top of the lions and the top castle and the cross a bit. You can see that here, and this faceting mark, as well as this faceting mark, matches identically to this piece. So regardless if the guy clipped it or not, they're the same in strike, which if you know Cobbs, you know that this doesn't happen. But you can also note right here on this specimen that there's a little blob of casting bubble metal where there's not on this one. And I've noticed too that with his castings, some of them are better than others. So, by the way, this piece here shows the front and the back of this coin. So this is what the reverse, the obverse of this coin looks like. It's just garbage. You can see Naples, Sicily, and then the rest is pretty much just junk. So that's that coin. So if you see this particular piece, this neat new style Mexico Mint 8 reales, it's a fake, especially when it's in a frame just like I'm sharing here. It's fake. There's an original out there somewhere, but it'll always be suspect. If it pops up, it's always going to be suspect because somebody cast it and they sold a ton of them as authentic. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up two more of these coins here, because it's going to show you the same kind of clipping that this guy did here. So let's look at this one. Actually, let's look at this one first. Not the greatest resolution, I'm sorry for that, but note this piece here in a Cobb Coin Company frame. This, by the way, also has the Gulf Stream Rarities embossing. It's not shown in this particular frame, but it is there. So we can see we've got a coin that's mounted upside down, reverse side out, Mexico Mint. Note there's no serial number underneath this coin, so I'm going to show you the exact same coin. This one has a serial number underneath of it, but this one's been clipped. So we can actually see the shearing marks here. This has been sheared there, and it's been sheared right there. Casting's not as good on this one, but it was mounted the same way. It was mounted upside down, so we can really compare all the strike details. I will post this online, by the way, so you can actually go look at the pictures and study these pictures for yourself. I'm going to put up all the information that I can. So this is just another example of one in a Cobb Coin Company, or a frame with a Cobb Coin Company certificate, which is bogus. And when I look at the certificates, by the way, on these Cobb Coin Company ones, you'll notice a lot of things are missing. You can tell right away that they are a Xerox, like a scanned copy of the original certificates, because there's all this stuff missing on them. Plus, they're not made the way the original certificates were made. And it's most evident. Let me just get this picture here. I think I may have collapsed it, but I just wanted to point this out because I think it's important. It's most evident, even though this is not going to be the highest resolution, it's most evident right here. If you look at the words Cobb Coin Company at the top, you're going to note that this font is missing little parts of its serif because the scan wasn't very good. And then you're going to notice in some of the paragraph where there was little crease marks and stuff that like took out some of the actual lettering, so these certificates are all identical. Anyway, let's move on. I want to show some more examples. So this is this one here. Ugh, this guy, whoever this guy is, I just gotta say, man, what an asshole. So I think I'm going to do is break this up into 2 videos, and I'm going to come back and show you some more of these. So stay tuned. I'm going to make a second